Do you want me to say something mental? If this USA team plays England, we are cooked. I don't know what Pochettino has fed these players, but genuinely last night they turned into prime Brazil. And honestly, I don't think it's ridiculous to say that they are the dark horse to watch this summer. I feel like they have this really bad rep, especially in Europe, for their football, but yesterday changed my mind. I feel like my favourite part about this USA World Cup squad is just how fluid their football is under Poch. Unlike many teams right now who just try to stay compact and make themselves hard to break down, these guys play this really attractive, fast-paced, attacking counter football. It always has the USA on the front foot, and it's exactly what you need when you have home advantage, because what does a crowd love more than attacking? We love it! The two main players who excel in this system are the fullbacks Robinson and Freeman, because Poch plays a wing-back style. They're expected to bomb up and down the pitch, attacking, defending, contributing in the middle. The work rate of those two players last night was exceptional, and most of the time with those systems you expect to be slightly hindered defensively. I'm a Liverpool fan, I've seen it with Trent Alexander-Arnold. However, it might just be because they played Paraguay, but there was no defensive flaw in doing this. Plus, Freeman got an assist, so it clearly benefits the USA. In an era full of these inverted, overly systematic fullbacks, it just felt so refreshing to watch last night's game. And honestly, it just reminds me of just how systematic the Premiership is. I guess that's the beauty of the World Cup though, because the managers get so little time with their squad, they can't overly tweak and make these micro differences in games that Premier League managers can. It just prevents these overcomplicated football algorithms that just turns the best of players into mere pawns. Speaking of amazing players, Christian Pulisic only played 45 minutes yesterday and still managed to impress me massively. Now personally, I always laugh when people say LeBron James of soccer, you know. It's a well-known joke around Europe especially that he is far from that. However, last night at 3 AM, I had a revelation on my opinion on this player. He might actually be the LeBron of soccer. In Pochettino's USA, Pulisic really plays this free roam kind of, you know, play style. He can play on the left, he can come central, he can take on his man freely and have fun. It really inhibits his creativity, and I feel like it's far better for him than making him this, you know, just piece in a system that spreads the pitch. At one point, I was utterly convinced he had been swapped with Prime Hazard. Like, look at this.
Trying to stretch the Paraguay backline. They've certainly done that.
This is not the Christian Pulisic we know. No wonder the Americans D1 glaze him at all costs, because if one of my players were like him yesterday, I would too. And listen, I know Pulisic hasn't exactly thrived at AC Milan, but maybe this Pochettino system just works for him. Another player in the front three who looked just as good as Pulisic is Balogun. I think I pronounced that right, and he impressed me massively. Forgive the glaze here, but he also resembled an ex-Chelsea legend, Didier Drogba. Last night, he made me single-handedly believe it might actually be called soccer, guys. We might have lost the debate. The way he stepped up to this massive game really shocked me. Not that I didn't believe in him, but he plays for Monaco in the Liga, so it is a big step up. But dare I say, if Pulisic stayed on for even 20 minutes of the second half, he would have got a hat-trick for Balogun. Going into this game, it was 2 AM, I was tired. I was wondering whether it'd even be worth it, but I feel like Balogun really made me think it was. I was genuinely operating on pure American vibes. And a bit of caffeine, but who doesn't have caffeine? The most shocking part is for some reason, I loved it. Due to how the World Cup's been organised, you know, the visa issues, I'm also from the UK, I've kind of been grown to dislike America as a country. And don't get me wrong, I still do, this hasn't changed my opinion on the USA, but I think the team have made me like that section of the country. Me and my friends, we were all hyping up this huge hate watch, like USA, we want them to get battered 4-0, but after 5 minutes, I pulled a Caicedo type switch up in 2023. Poch ball is genuinely such a breath of fresh air, and after watching it, I just really want them to win for football. Not the World Cup, obviously, but I want them to, you know, I want them to have a good campaign. Now, I do just need to address that a lot of people have been saying, oh, it's just Paraguay. The second we turn up against, let's say, Spain, they're going to get absolutely bent over. And yes, Paraguay probably played just as bad as South Africa did against Mexico. which makes me think, regardless of how the USA turned up, they probably would have got the 3 points. However, I don't think you can solely use that against them, because how fluid they were, their mentality, that doesn't change game to game, especially when pretty much every game's a home game for the USA. And that home advantage was massive. It makes me think that the USA can actually push for a decent finish in this competition. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking semi-finals, finals type thing. Their quality isn't as good as the likes of France, but I do think they can get to the quarterfinals. That isn't ridiculous to say. I'm still open to hear where you guys think they'll finish though, so make sure to let me know in the comments. I'm interested. Since I've mentioned home advantage, I feel like I need to give the USA a bit of a section to credit their fans. In the past, they've rightfully got some bad rep for their chants, and I'll show you one here. I was on the bandwagon too, like the USA, bad chants, bad football culture. I couldn't think any differently. Last night though, you could genuinely feel the passion of the Americans through the screen, and it's almost like being the home nation made them step up their game a bit. We all know they're a very patriotic lot, so yeah, I think that really made them step up. I just want to clarify though, I don't think they're anywhere near European fans, especially the Bosnians in America right now. They're tearing up Toronto. With that said, make sure to subscribe, because I'm an independent creator, no team, pumping out World Cup content day and night, so it'd be much appreciated.